Hi, I'm Terry Brock, and I want to tell you today about a way that you can improve your quality of recording and your communication over Skype. When you're talking, it's very important to have clear audio, clear video, and I got a treat for you today. Joining me right now from his offices in California, live and direct, is the CEO of Blue Microphones, John Maier. John, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's really important to be able to use good quality on audio. A lot of times people don't think it's as important. Talk to us about why that's important, particularly when you're using Skype and you need to come across with a good impression.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of things. I think a more general comment about it is that bad audio becomes a distraction. Especially today with amazing video capabilities with people with broadband at home and HD abilities on Skype and even recording stuff to YouTube. It's very interesting that the audio part sort of seems to be forgotten until they actually do a video or do a Skype communication and realize, boy, I didn't catch half of what the other person was saying. And even if you can hear a little bit of what's happening, there becomes sort of a distraction. So, an example I use a lot is if you were in maybe a church service or a speaking engagement and the speakers were set up behind you, you'd be looking at the speaker in front of you, but you'd be hearing audio behind you, and it just becomes a distraction. You stop listening to what they're saying, and you start kind of get with a confusion in your understanding of what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
That's a very important thing. If I can interrupt you for a minute there, that's really
sure.
important because in a business sense, if they are thinking about, oh, the speakers aren't working, or I can't hear, what did he say on that? They're missing the important business message that you're trying to communicate. For a salesperson, that means their mind is somewhere else and they're not hearing that important point you're making about your product or service.
Right. There's another thing that happens too is, something, for talking to a friend or a family member, you can stop and start and you can interrupt and you can go, hey, I didn't hear what you said. It's another thing altogether differently when you're having a business conversation. Maybe it's someone you haven't even met before via Skype. You tend to want to have sort of business etiquette, right? So you don't want to interrupt them.
Right.
You don't want to say anything, but yet on the other side, you're saying to yourself, I can't really hear what they're saying. I'm only capturing some of what they're saying. And then all of a sudden you find yourself at the end of the phone call and you really didn't capture the whole message. And it really does hamper your communications. It hampers the business you're trying to do.
Yes, absolutely. It really does. And so it's a business reason that you need to do it. We talk about the benefits of using Skype, but it's very important that you get the right equipment and using the right microphone. And matter of fact, in full disclosure, I got to tell people all the time are asking me, Terry, what equipment are you using? It sounds very good. What are you using for a microphone? Well, John, I am using the Yeti microphone made by Blue Microphones. Here it is. This is a great little microphone. It's a professional studio quality. And by the way, you notice how I put it right here below so you don't quite see it there. It's kind of nice. Right. But it comes across really well. Tell us a little bit about the Yeti microphone and without going into all the technical details, how that can help us from a business point of view.
Sure. I think the main thing is it's a great answer to the problems you and I just talked about. It's essentially we've taken our professional quality diaphragms and condensers and electronics and brought it into a package that is, a great, absolutely amazing sounding microphone, but at a price and a desktop form factor that makes much more sense for someone who's holding meetings in Skype and doing other types of things with it.
Yes.
So it really absolutely makes a big difference. And as I said, it's a big deal as video gets better and better. When the audio isn't good, people start to actually think the video isn't very good either, even though it is. So
yes, and you know what happens even more than in a business sense? They're going to think this person isn't as good. They're going to start making judgments. It's almost like a person who might have a good message, but if they're dressed really poorly, very shabbily in a formal presentation, and they come in, there's mud on their shirt, or they obviously didn't comb their hair. I didn't comb my hair just for you today, John. I want you to know that.
Oh, good.
They're looking very shabby in business. It's going to detract from the message. And so the audio is very important. One of the things I love about this Yeti microphone is the settings you have on the back. Those of you that are watching this, you'll notice there's 4 settings there so that you can optimize it. And John, tell me about these 4 settings. We got over here on the far left, there's one with a little symbol, looks like a round stuff going together.
Yeah, and I'll use mine here as a little prop as well.
About that.
So there's a couple things, a little bit of technical information in that in this head here, there are actually three microphones or three microphone capsules. So in the front, there's a stereo, so two capsules, and then in the back, there's a capsule as well. And what we do with this pattern selector switch is
hold that up just a little bit higher so we can see it. Just a little bit higher. There we go. Okay, there we go.
Right here. And what that allows you to do is select different combinations of those capsules. So in the case of, like we talked earlier, you're using the cardioid position, which is the third position over.
That's the one I'm in right now.
That's a great sort of single voice position. You can also do figure eight if you were doing an interview where the stereo capsule is one side and the back capsule is working as well, so you can do an interview.
Ah, nice. So the person sitting across the table from me, we're able to talk to each other.
Right, exactly. And then there's also the ability to do an omni position, so you're capturing the room sound. And then my favorite, honestly, is the stereo position, which can be used for single voice. What it does is it's a stereo effect on the voice in the front, but it also bleeds a little bit of the room sound into the back capsule for a more natural sound. Great for music and acoustic guitars and voice, but even good for speaking. Gives you a real big warm sound for a speaking voice.
Very nice. Yeah, well, the bottom line is whether you're using the Yeti, which is available at most stores, I think you can get it at Apple and different places, where your favorite store, it's very good, but get a good microphone. When you are out there using Skype, you want to make sure that your voice comes across very well. But the audio is one component. The other component, of course, when you're using Skype video like we are, is video. And John, I got to show you this other one right here. This is the one from Blue Microphones. And those of you who are seeing it, this is an external microphone. You might say, well, I've got it built into my computer, and that's good. But there's some advantages to having the external microphone, something like this one, or the external webcam, I should say. John, what are some advantages of an external versus internal webcam?
Well, there's a couple of things. One is obviously quality. While things are improving on desktops and laptops, essentially they're constrained by costs and size and the ability to sort of integrate it into their systems. With a standalone webcam, ours or anybody's, you've got the ability to focus in on that particular thing. In our case, we spent a lot of time and effort on the sound of the webcam, but also we've got a nice 2-megapixel camera on there as well.
2 megapixels, nice.
Yeah, so that's part of it. The second part of it is, it becomes something you can carry with you. So whether you're at a remote office or your office or traveling with your laptop, your desktop, you always know you have that excellent quality audio and excellent quality video with you wherever you're going. In fact, that's one of the things about the eyeball that's nice, is that it's very compact. You close this, the microphone kind of turns and goes into the case. And then when you use it, you can take it out of the case and then flip the camera around, or excuse me, the microphone part, and then the fun part is the camera actually clicks out to the side.
Yeah, I love that. You see, because, John, I've seen that many people will say, okay, I don't look at me, I don't have my makeup on or whatever, I don't look good, Well, then all you have to do is press this little guy right there, like that, and look, it's not there. But then you say, okay, now I'm ready. You just press it again, and it comes out real hit. I don't know who came up with that, but you ought to double their salary. That's a good one.
Exactly. The great thing about it, too, is that there's no menus. You're not digging under the screen. It's a simple, move of your hand to get it out of there. And I think for a lot of people, especially people who are maybe not as tech savvy, not as into the technology, don't really want to mess with it, there's an assurance, there's a comfort factor. They know when that camera goes inside there, there's no physically possible way for it to be viewing them.
Right.
So it actually has been a pretty fun little feature.
It can be real nice. One of the ways I've used this in business is being able to take the external camera, and I can say, oh, look at this, and I'll hold it over at an object, or I'll show something that's on a screen. And when I'm doing coaching, for instance, it's real nice to be able to say, oh, you plug it in over here on this side of the computer, see that right there, and plug it in. They can physically see, and really what you're doing is you're enhancing collaboration. By enhancing the collaboration, people are working together more. They're able to get the job done. And this way, I'm doing it without having to incur all the time, money, and effort to physically get me to where you are. Much, much better and more efficient in business.
Absolutely. Yep.
So it works very nice. Well, if people want to find out more about the products that you have, where do they go? What's your website, John?
It's bluemic.com.
And spell that for us, please.
M-I-C. Yeah, BLUEMIC.com. And one other thing I did want to mention that we didn't discuss earlier is Yeti actually, I don't want to speak out of turn that it's done yet, but Yeti is actually going to be a Skype approved microphone. And a lot of the Skype approved product up until this point has been a lot of the headset mics and those kinds of things, because it's really nice to have that closeness to the microphone. And when you're moving around, the mic sort of stays with you. The beautiful thing about a product like Yeti that you're using and that I use is it's such great sound quality. And so we're excited to have been working with Skype, and that Skype approval should be here shortly. And then we're working on the rest of the products as well. And our products initially are made to have a pretty wide frequency response and carry a real big sound. And sometimes that's not great for a Skype call because you want to have it focused in. Beautiful thing about Yeti is you can make those pattern switches. You can select the pattern to be the right pattern for your particular use. So very excited to have Skype approval on its way for Yeti.
Yes, and I think that's very good. And again, the business point of view is that this way you can talk, you can be heard clearly, but you don't have the headset on. Sometimes people will say, I don't want to wear that headset. And you want something that looks more natural, much more like it would be on TV. And so by using it on TV, like you would see there over a regular video, you're able to do it, but you still retain the quality when you have something like the Yeti microphone right there. Well, John, thank you for being with us. Thank you for also all the things that Blue is putting together, with the great quality audio, the great quality video products, and we appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you, Terry. Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a great day, and we will look forward to seeing you again.
You too.